All right. There we go. All right. Like I said, since I'm recording it, she comes. I was looking at my texts and emails. I hadn't heard anything from her here lately, so maybe she's just running behind. Stuck in traffic. All right. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all joining us. I think this is still working great for the board meeting. You know, unless there's ever sometime where we need to physically get together, I think for everybody this works pretty good. So keep it going. All right. Well, just to piggyback, I think most people were on, but Barry does have a planned date right now of Monday the 18th for the climbers to come to the tower. Mainly do some testing. So we'll definitely talk about that next week.
How do we handle paying the climbers?
You need to give me a $2,800 check.
Okay.
Made out to, I'll get the exact name. It's Wallace Tower, but I'll get the exact name. Matter of fact, I'll look it up right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hey, Lynn, how you doing, man?
Doing fine. How are y'all?
Good, good.
No,
Looking pretty
Lynn's
good.
not doing fine.
Huh?
Lynn's not doing fine.
Not doing fine. Uh-oh.
Oh, y'all don't know about my broken foot.
You broke your
What?
Yeah, I'm back in the wheelchair.
He stuck it in his mouth and put it where it shouldn't have been.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I've got 3 more weeks of it in this cast and then 4 weeks in a boot.
Oh gosh.
And no weight on it for 3 more weeks.
Well, and with all your back problems and stuff, you know, my experience is when you're walking with a cast and everything, that gets your back and everything out of whack, even on a good day. So.
Well, I'm in a wheelchair, so that doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just,
Oh
I
gosh.
didn't have any luck. Bad luck. I wouldn't have any luck at all.
There you go. There you go. Oh man. All right. Well, we were just talking. Barry's got the climbers are going to come look at the tower Monday the 18th is the plan right now, and it's really about all we've talked about before you got on. Barry, do you have anything else or?
No, the name of the company is Wallace Tower Specialist Company. Like say $2,800.
Carolyn's booting up.
Okay. All right.
You got that?
Got it?
All right.
Yep.
Who's coming on? Let's give her just a minute. I don't see her requesting yet.
Anyway, Rick and I we're making our plans, you know, of exactly what we need out there. We're going to be doing a lot of testing,
Yeah.
you know, and we're going to come out of this thing with some answers this time. I hope the right answers.
Yeah. Okay. I should be able to be out there. So I'll plan on that too. So.
Blame it on a TV station.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen. And, you know, we'll see. I can't prove anything right now. So,
Well,
by the way, Steve, I don't know if we want to broadcast too much of this to the full meeting because I don't want a bunch of people out there. You know, everybody's like, oh, I need to go out there. I want to go see it, blah, blah, blah. You know, they do that every time.
that's a good point.
I just prefer not to have a bunch of people out there touring.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I don't know how we want to handle that. So
No, that's a good point. They don't need to, they don't need to, that's a good point.
yeah, if we ever come up with dates, you know, when we're actually doing something, I get 2 or 3 requests to come out there and they seldom do, but,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, though.
What time are we meeting there?
Just make sure you take pictures. Barry, take pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind certain people coming out there. I just don't want the whole club out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think from a liability standpoint that and for y'all to figure out what's going on, you don't need to be interrupted. You don't, I don't
Exactly.
need to be, I don't need to be out there because I'm not somebody that knows what I'm doing.
Well, we
And,
need to have hard hats on too, anytime somebody's up on that tower. So,
yeah, from a safety standpoint and everything else, I think
Right.
just don't even tell anybody and you report back to the club. We're not holding
That's-
anything out from them.
that's kind of what I had in mind.
That's a good point. Good idea.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. All right, still waiting on Carolyn here, but we'll see. Okay.
So are we
Of course, we can tell them that we're working on getting,
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
just
we
don't
can
give them a date.
yeah, tell them we've been in
Just don't
touch and
give
it
them a
and it should be,
date.
sometime within the next couple of weeks. Just still tell them it's something they're gonna work this in and it should be. in the next
it's
couple of
hard to
weeks.
get though, and it's hard to get these people and we're at their beck and call. And I wouldn't even say the next couple of weeks. I'd just say we're working on it.
Yeah, okay. Good point.
soon?
Okay, all right, well. We'll see. All right, Joe, what you got?
We've got tech class going right now with 15 students. I think I
Good
started
class.
out with 17 and a couple of them have dropped out. We had 13 there last night, I think. And
And you knew
or
about
12, I think 12 last night. Two of them told me that they would not be there. Those are the two from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And this class has been, at least one guy has been asking more questions than any other class. So that's been good. We finished 3 weeks so far. So next week is antenna and feed line and safety and question and answers and about the test or whatever. And then the 18th we test. So yeah, 4/11, yeah, 4/11 and then 18 we test. So it'll be a VE test, Laurel VE test session. And then I have scheduled a general class starting on the 1st of November through the 6th of December with 5 classes and then the 6th class test session with no review before it. And I think I've got 5 or 6 already. Hold on a second. Got 5 or 6 already scheduled to that are techs that want to come to the class. And I think that I'll have some people from this class. Let's see. I've got 5 already signed up. And I have a feeling I'll have 5 at least out of the class that will want to attend. I have several people though that I'm looking at, like 3 or 4 possibly, that'll get tech in general. So that's good out of it. But I told the ones that would even make tech in general, I said, I'll be glad to let you audit the class
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
you can see more.
yeah,
I'm sure they'll probably get more out of the class not having to be doing sample testing than and all of that, then
Right.
if you're doing but I've really been pushing sample testing and trying to get them to where if they're getting 85, 90%, hit the general one hard. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens between now and then, but
Maybe they can do 100% like I did.
did you hear that? Bev,
Uh,
Bev said maybe they can do 100% like she did.
Oh, no. Good.
Nothing like a little funny business coming out of the peanut gallery.
There you go.
I knew the boss man.
She
Did
said
you ever
she
hear
knew the
anything-
boss man.
Yeah. Did you ever hear anything back from that teacher that was wanting to do something there?
She's in the class.
Oh, she is in the class. Okay.
She's in the class.
Okay. That's
Yep.
good.
Yep, she's in the class. I've got 1, 2, 3 ladies in the class.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
I'm pretty sure it's 3. Yeah, 3. And I think I don't know how the Oak Ridge ones will do because they missed this class and one of the other ladies, I'm not sure if her father was Ed Arndt, KX4 LF. And she's wanting to get his call sign, so she's going to have to get extra to do it. And I don't know if she'll be able to. She has young kids to where I don't know if she'll be able to get it or not, but she's trying to get the license.
Yeah. I mean, some people do it, but man, tech all the way through to extra, that's a leap.
General day,
And then what was that, Lynn?
general to extra.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know that.
But anyway, so with 5 already for general, and then got the class to where I think there'll be 5 to where we should have a pretty good general class as well. And then we'll wait until the general class finishes to start up about extra class starting the first part of January on Saturdays.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No?
Okay. Hey, Carolyn, glad you could join us. I have been recording this. We haven't covered a whole lot, and I'll send you the link so that you can see what you missed at the beginning, but we're good.
Okay, thanks a lot. Sorry
no
about
problem.
that.
Yeah,
Tell
no
her
problem.
not
Forever,
to-
took forever to boot up.
No problem. We've all been through that.
Not to talk about the antenna climber.
All right. I guess the next thing, is, do we have a program for next week? And piggybacking on that, do y'all think we're going to meet in person or meet online? I guess first question is, we're going to meet online or in person? And both. If we do in person, it'd be both. But what do y'all think?
Well, I don't know if Bobby will do in person.
I'm leaning towards online myself, and I guess I could go either way with the club, but I'm going to be around a lot of folks this weekend at a wedding, and so just in case, I'd rather not risk getting COVID and bringing it in to everybody. So I'll probably opt to participate from home either way. But I was kind of thinking it might be better to do just solely online anyway, because I think there's some cases that are still bad. I know they're on the decline. But then also with the bylaws, it may just make it easier to vote. Even if it's going to be harder to vote online, it may be easier just to deal with one type of voting versus having to deal with voting in person and then voting online.
I agree.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to, I don't see any particular, for this month, I don't see any particular reason why we have to. So I guess I'm okay with that.
And we're right in the middle of flu season. our flu season started earlier this year also, so we're fighting both flu and COVID-19. Even though you might not be seeing it, but there are quite a bit of flu cases here in Shelby County now.
I haven't heard flu yet. We had the grandson over here yesterday because he had a really bad cold. So I mean, there are some things starting to go around again. So, but oh, poor little guy, 10 years old. I talked to him and he said, "Oh man, I was." You know, he was real tired, and I said, "Oh, you didn't sleep good." And he said, "Well, I couldn't smell anything. I thought I had COVID all night." You know, and he went and got tested the next morning and didn't. But man, that just goes to show what some of these kids are going through. They just don't really,
Man,
you know,
get scared to death.
scared to death. You get a cold and scared to death because he thinks he's got COVID and gonna die. You know, but oh, it's pitiful.
That's what they're being told.
I know it. I know it. He was back in school today, so he's all right. Okay, well, do we have, I don't think, I haven't had any, has anybody had any feedback, questions, anything else about the about the bylaws? I haven't seen or heard anything. Is anybody else?
I've got 3 sections highlighted that we need to look at and figure out how we would want to change them. And I apologize, y'all. There's been a lot going on over the past couple of weeks, so I haven't had the chance to sit down and look at this like I wanted to. But either way, I think the best thing to do, since we technically didn't vote on anything at the last meeting anyway, would be to publish the bylaws as they are right now in Sparks again. So basically a copy of the same thing. And then whatever proposed changes, I could just have highlighted on a document, and that way we could kind of list it, I guess, as one amendment versus a bunch of different ones. But I can share that if y'all want to look at it. We can discuss it, or we can discuss it later. It's up to y'all.
What you got, Lynn?
Do you think that we need to let a group of 60, 70, 100 people try to rewrite a bylaw that we've got questions on, or let them question it and let the board then come back and make a recommendation of what we think they were saying that we needed to do?
Well, that's kind of what they did. I know Tom, I forgot his call sign, but Tom had mentioned let's see.
Which one, Perry or Jim?
The
lawyer in Fayette County, or?
No,
Perry
not in the September regular club meeting. Tom Budas, KM4 AEM, had mentioned about we need to check into the IRS rules for because he was
financial documents.
Yeah, because he was thinking that anybody should be able to request them, not just a member. And so, so we didn't list any specific changes then, Lynn. That was something where we had kind of mentioned in the meeting that we could kind of come back and figure out some proposed wording and then propose it at the October meeting.
Okay, that's what I was.
If there needs to be a change, I don't know. We may look into it and realize it doesn't need to happen, and then we can just report that.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I don't know. I did some very light looking last week or last month, whenever that was brought up. And I found where your IRS filing, like what shows your net and everything, is supposed to be public. But you can pull that on any charitable organization from the IRS website. So I don't know if it's like your books and your bank accounts have to be available to anyone or not. But I'm also not a lawyer, paralegal, or anything thereof. So I don't know. I mean, if we're supposed to, it's not like we just wouldn't. I don't really want to risk the bylaws dragging on into next year again based on some things that, I mean, they should be correct and accurate and comply with the law, which I'm pretty sure we have a couple of provisions in there that state where they do not conflict with FCC regulation, etc. So I don't know that something like that is really worth delaying them this current big
You know, and I would think the
Addition.
fact that we publish the budget and everything, I mean, everything is pretty much open to the public.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know-
anybody can go to our website and pull up a copy of Sparks that has the treasurer's report in it.
I know from my practice with the healthcare systems that we're all nonprofit, that the only thing that was open to public scrutiny were the filings to the IRS, which basically the only thing everybody always wanted to see were salaries. You know, that was the biggie. And we did not open our books, you know, to just everybody to come in and just go line item by line item to request stuff. Never had anybody ask. So I doubt if they're gonna do the same on a not-for-profit amateur radio club.
Yeah.
So I think you're really spending a lot of time on something, is worry about it if somebody does it. So if somebody requests it.
Yeah, I mean, I think between the combination of the fact we do a monthly public reporting of our
Yeah,
treasurer's report, the yearly budget. I mean, I think that's public and you know, they got access to the IRS information, like you said. I think that's public enough.
well, the only people gonna want to know this stuff are the members. They're the ones, you know, and
Yeah.
then they've got opportunity to ask questions. They got, you know.
Well, the only thing would be if there's somebody that's wanting to become a member and wanted to see it before they became a member. That's when that came up, that was the only thing that I thought of. You know,
Yeah.
if you wanted to,
Look at Tax Sparks.
yeah, we would just direct them to Spark. So, yeah.
I would be able to tell them, yeah, we're in good financial shape here. You talk to them about that.
Well, yeah, and that's it, you know, because some people might want to say, hey, man, am I getting into a situation where the club's struggling or something like that? And we're obviously not. So I think the way that it is, we're okay.
Yeah, we've never had that come up, have we, that I know of or have heard?
That's what I've heard.
You know, so I don't think, I think it blows a lot of people out of the water to see what kind of good financial shape we are in.
Yeah. So I think, you know, I think to show that we're not ignoring it, I think we ought to mention that, you know, that I think next week we could mention that was brought up and that we discussed it and we felt that, you know, there's enough public information where we don't need to expose anything else.
But we've never been asked the questions, and if we ever do get asked, we'll handle it at that time. You
Yeah.
can't cover everything. You can't use a document to cover everything under the earth that might happen.
All right. Like you said, 3 things, Mary Jean. What else you got?
Let's see. I think maybe this was Joe who mentioned this. So on the board of directors, it says 4.6.1, the board of directors shall meet on the first Tuesday of each month. And Joe had said something about allowing an exemption for when we work around holidays. You know, if it falls on a
Yeah.
certain holiday or something, and then we decide to move it to a different day, which hardly ever happens, but I think it has happened, what, once in the past couple of
Yeah,
years?
New Year's, 1 year,
Yeah,
not too long ago.
so,
I think you're all right there. If somebody asks you why you didn't meet then, you give enough notice when the meeting's gonna be held. And it's not like we have people knocking at the door wanting to come to the meetings.
yeah.
You know, and that brought that when, because any of the shalls, you know, we do need to be a little bit careful of. There was a shall about having, I think there wasn't there isn't there a shall about in the financials about having a CD? Do we need to change that to may?
Mm.
Because we say shall, then that means that we have to have a CD, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Let's see. Hey, Steve, can I just do a screen share on this?
Yeah, let me,
Since we are talking about it, it might
yeah,
make
yeah,
it
yeah,
easier.
hang
to-
on, let me, screen share, there you go. You should have it now.
All right. So you said, let's see. CD.
Yeah, there was something, because that one came up, and then later on, farther down, there's something about the treasurer, maybe even in the treasurer's description, or that's it. No, a 544.
Okay.
Let's change it. It's maybe because shall means that we have to do it, but if we say may, then that gives them the ability to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Well, I mean, since there will be one amendment voted like for this anyway, I mean, do we want to mention something, an exemption of some sort on this?
What do you?
Leave it as is.
You know, the board, the board meeting may be changed if
By vote of the
if there's
board.
a holiday or something like that.
And I think you could say the board meeting, the board of directors meeting may be changed by a vote of the board. Or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
With
Well, yeah.
with prior notice, with
Yeah.
with
Well,
2 weeks prior notice.
No, you just say that the board can change the date of the meeting.
Okay.
That way you don't want to be too specific. But yet, if you're going to hold a
You know, and
vote,
the one thing that we've gotten caught on a couple of times, but it's not, you know, because it's more changing the place. We've gotten stuck more than holidays. We've gotten stuck on elections, but we've just got to change where we meet.
Board shouldn't be capitalized unless it's defined up earlier on. I don't know if board has been defined earlier on. So need to have the board of directors may change.
On 4.4.1, it says all officers of the board, and board is capitalized there.
Yeah, we need to, I mean, if it's been defined someplace else, we can use it, but it's got to be defined.
All right, I'll make that change on
Okay.
that in a second, Caroline. In fact, there's another down below, 465, that needs it, so.
you can go through where the capitalizing of board is, and pretty much you don't have to put board of directors every time, just use the lowercase board.
Should we say maybe like if necessary, the board of directors may change the day of the meeting with prior notice, or?
You might cover and location.
Well, it doesn't specify the
Yeah.
location really anyway, so.
Oh, okay. But you said we've been caught in that sometimes. but-
Yeah,
But that's the meeting, not the board of directors.
Oh,
no, actually the board, I think the board meetings got, because usually the elections are the first Tuesday. It's not the,
The elections are the first Tuesday of the month, not.
yeah, so that's
not the
where we've
second
gotten into
Tuesday.
trouble before, yeah. The second Tuesday for the main meeting's usually not a problem, but who knows? And we've got the provision for the main meeting. We just didn't say anything for the board meeting. Okay.
right. And then the third one. Any person should join. Do we want to change this? Because it only mentions that applications must be submitted by, well, or by mailing, never mind. Okay. Okay. All right, well, that's it then.
Not too bad.
No, not at all. And, you know, anybody can bring up, I mean, they may go back and hopefully go through Sparks and read it. And if they have any suggestions, they'll, you know, make what they need to make. But if not, then that's what, I mean, there's really not many.
No, I think we're in good shape. If we were going to get something too drastic, it would have been last month. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing was what Tom had mentioned about we need to clarify this. So,
yeah, I think we're okay on that. So I think we've got enough detail that we got enough detailed information in our monthly information and in our budget that we're covered.
And every month we go through the budget or, you know, the expenditures, and if it's
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
approved
that's pretty detailed. So,
as
all right.
outlined in Sparks.
All right, so we're going to meet online only, which I guess that, you know, that's okay. We're going to cover the bylaws again real quick. That shouldn't take too long. Y'all feel that we need anything else for next month, or as far as a program? Do you have anything planned, or?
Yeah, Tom, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, Deshara, AC5MR, asked to do a program on end-fed antennas.
Okay. That could work.
I told him the last program we usually have time for in the year is October, so.
Okay, that could work. I don't think the bylaws are going to take long.
No, all you got to do is ask, are there any more questions?
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we have it ready to show if we need to show it, and just say, does anybody have any specific question? You know, you've had plenty of time to
Put it
review
in
it.
the Sparks again,
Yep. It's in the
saying that
Spark.
there were 3 revisions, and I don't even think you have to point out where the revisions were.
No, I don't think so. Just say, hey, does anybody have any questions about the final proposed bylaws as published in Spark? So,
Yeah, because we reviewed it last month and 3 suggestions were made, and, you know, I don't think it needs to be long at all. They're
Nope.
just
Nope.
short and sweet.
no, but I don't think we're at risk of anything popping up, but you know, who knows?
And you take the time if it does.
Yeah. All right. Now, the other thing that I guess we need to take time now to review all the nominees we've had for office for we've still got a couple of openings. We still got the vice president, and we still got programs, right? I haven't, we've got to now, let's see, the election is November, right, Joe?
Right. Should be presenting the board next Tuesday night, presenting a slate.
Yeah, the nominations, I
But
think
you
are
can
supposed to be
have
finalized.
nominations from the floor as well in November.
We don't have them standing at the door trying to sign up yet.
Nope. If anybody's got any, that's the thing, with us not meeting as much, it is just a little bit harder to even kind of get a feel for who might be
Yeah,
interested.
I haven't even looked at who's got 6 meetings under their belt either. Need to do that.
Carolyn, could you, between, could you send that to us in the next, within, by next week, and then,
Oh, yeah. Next, I can probably do that tomorrow.
okay, if you could do that, I know, Mary Jean, I know that you're busy with thing coming up this coming weekend, but maybe we could see if would you be interested in if anybody else is interested, but you and me and maybe Joe getting together and kind of going over who's eligible and who might be somebody that we need to tap on the shoulder.
Who might be the stucky?
Yeah.
Well, and I hate, one thing is, because Mary Jean, you need to kind of, I've always had help on a lot of help on who's mine, but the main one is going to be the vice president. So if you've got anybody in mind that you want to, have for that. Let's, I think we definitely got the bylaws done. That is the next thing we need to look at pretty hard between now and, we only got 2 openings, but program is pretty big, and vice president, we have to have all of them filled, but vice president's not the end of the world, but we got to have somebody for program. All right. The only other thing that I was going to bring up, speaking of people knocking the doors down, I have not had anybody interested in the Blood City Blues this weekend.
I was gonna ask.
I haven't had anybody, and I've been in touch with one of the guys that's, I can't think of his name right now, but I've been emailing. I emailed him a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, y'all are, his website looks like he was still planning on it, and I asked him, he said, yeah. And I warned him then. I said, I'm not having too many people interested in it. I'll announce it again on the net tonight and maybe even tomorrow night, but I think I got to pull the trigger by Wednesday, so he's got time. We'll just say, look, we haven't met in person, last month or this month, and people are just kind of hesitant about being in groups.
For net control, he might still need a little bit of help, but I think 2 years ago, I think Jose had helped out at net control, and he said once he got kind of going with it, he seemed to be doing pretty good. So he might be somebody, but, or have you, has he been on the list that you reached out to already?
Yeah.
Which I guess you still need folks at
I
stations.
gotta say, no point having a net control if we don't have a net to control. I don't know. We'll just have to.
Is it worth sending out a separate email just to our membership, kind of explaining what they would need? Because like whenever Sylvia and I did it last year, the last time that we went out there, we weren't really close enough to people to really be that concerning for us anyway. Our station was outside. We were at Glen Springs, but it was outside, and we could choose to walk closer to people or choose to just kind of stay off to the side and just make sure that we relayed what we needed to and paid enough attention to things. So if we explain some of the stations like that, it may help some people's comfort level. I don't know if it would be good to outline what we need to cover that, or it may not help.
I just haven't had anybody contact me at all with it. I had one person, and he thought it was this past weekend, and he's out of town this coming weekend, so he wasn't able to do it. So,
What kind of equipment does everybody need? A base station with a big portable antenna set up, or just handy talkies?
I think using the we can use the other repeater that's up on the big tower. I think HT would work on about everything, don't you, Barry?
Yeah, it's from Shelby Farms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shelby Forest, Shelby
I think
Or
Forest.
Shelby Forest,
Shelby
I mean,
Forest,
yeah. It should.
We've done HTs with you know, the 8.2. This is basically the same thing.
It'd be better with mobiles though.
Mobiles would be better,
Oh, yeah.
but
And then whoever, thinking back to a couple years ago, I think it was pretty easy for everybody to get into the repeater. It was just whoever, and I think maybe it was Tom AC5MR who ended up in Tipton County. I think he had to have like a good setup with his mobile radio, but everybody else, I don't think it took more.
That
than
was
a
2
handheld.
meters at the time, I believe, and not
Yeah, that's
440.
true. That's true.
well, but that's it. I mean, if you know, without anybody really interested, there just hadn't been that much to try to work out. I guess what I'm basically asking is, you know, I volunteered that we would try to help, but I just don't see how we.
Who
can.
else do you have on your list?
I don't have anybody that's.
Nobody? No.
Nobody said they're interested.
Steve, I was considering it, but my wife is having hand surgery Friday, so
Yeah,
and it's her right hand, so
yeah.
I'll have to be kind of babysitting.
Have we tried, I don't know if there still is a list of the people that did it last time. I don't know if it would be worth reaching out to them individually. I mean, Sylvia and I are open this weekend. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. But we have 2 radios. Somebody could borrow one. We could each work separately if we need to. I know 2 people doesn't really get you the lifts you need, but
Yeah. What's the minimum number of people you need?
They've got 5 stations. So we need, if we're going to support each station, that's 5 plus the somebody at the start finish. So that's 6. And then we need a couple of people out on the route. So I mean, we're nowhere near close.
8 or 9 would be minimum, I would think.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's assuming you don't have a minimum 2 at net control to switch off if they have to.
I think it might not hurt if we've got the email, like if we haven't maxed out our count, I think it'd be worth sending out an email maybe tomorrow.
Help,
like somebody
help.
mentioned that. Yeah, and like he said, maybe kind of explaining like there is I mean, you're around people, yeah, but there's also, I mean, you're typically pretty socially distant from everybody unless you have to get close enough to communicate. So. I don't
And
know.
you're outside.
And you're outside.
Yeah,
I think if you say you're outside, I think that clears the route.
Well, don't they normally have people inside some vehicles as well?
Mhm.
Well, but I mean, you could be by yourself in your own vehicle. So
Okay.
yeah, we wouldn't be.
You'd have somebody else, if you're sagging, you'd have somebody else in the vehicle if they break down.
maybe offer a door prize too.
I think
Was
I
that-
don't know. All right, I might get with Mike, see if he can send out an email tomorrow or tomorrow night or something, and
I think people have simply forgotten about it, or it hadn't been at the, top of mind. It's like you say, if we're not meeting in person and not have a sign-up list, it's kind of hard to do.
well, it's kind of hard, but then that's what I was actually going to kind of use as our excuse for not doing it. To say, look, we haven't felt comfortable enough meeting as a group. We definitely don't feel comfortable, meeting with probably a couple of hundred people that we don't know who they are. So,
Well, don't give up yet. You might be using that excuse.
Was it Ken that organized it last time?
yeah, I think he's one of the last
So
ones.
you may ask if he had, if you have contact information for him, you may ask if he has a list of the people that were in it the last couple of years that it ran, and maybe ask them specifically. And that, of course, that's if we think it's worth going through that kind of effort to drum up folks for it.
Okay,
What,
all right.
how long does it last? I mean, how many hours are you out there?
It usually starts about 7 in the morning, and usually on something like that, they try to get people off the route by about 3 or about 4. So everybody's off the route by dark. Mary Jean, doesn't that sound about right? Kind of trying to wrap it up usually by about 4.
4 o'clock sounds right, because I think 2018, I want to say we did it and there was somebody who was lagging behind and it was a big ordeal. So 2019, they pretty much said, if you're not back by such and such time, and maybe it was you who went around and picked up like 1 or 2 stragglers.
Yeah.
Or they, something like that. So yeah, they try to be done by like 4:30.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really nice,
Well, it's a
chance
nice
to
event.
volunteer.
Man, they've got a bunch of food people. They've got a bunch of
Mhm.
sponsors and stuff. They've got as many or more sponsors this year than they normally
Yeah.
do. I mean, they got
Yeah.
food, beer. They got, I mean, it's bands. Man, it's one of the nicer events.
And it's Saturday the 9th.
Yeah, this Saturday.
What about power for base stations? Do you bring a battery with you, or do they have power supplies?
Bring a battery or work out of your car or yeah, they don't, I don't think they're gonna have, I can't think of any of the places where they would really have, I wouldn't be able to count, I wouldn't think that you could count on any power at any of the stations. No, they might, they have some power there.
I think they, I know Glen Springs did not. I just used a battery that I have. I think the only place that was really supposed to have power for sure was the net control station, because they were at the start finish wherever all the vendors were set up.
Yeah.
Mary Jean, does that sound right?
I think so. And I don't mind, I mean, if there's somebody who, especially newer, who needs like a battery, I've got a 35 amp hour battery. I'd be happy to lend somebody or even my mobile radio to help. If that helps get you volunteers.
Yeah. All right. Let me see.
but-
Let me keep working on it a little bit more, but I mean, that's the thing. I was hoping by now I'd know who it was and we could be more in the planning stage than the begging stage, but let me see. Let me keep working on it a little bit more. Scott, we okay on refreshments?
Sure. Well, I gave a case of the Diet Pepsi's back to Joe, so everything
Really?
else is
They expire.
expire in November, I think. So I've got about a 12-pack left. I'll be probably drinking those. But yeah, we're doing fine. I suppose we're waiting to see if we're gonna meet and have snacks again. But I'm good.
All right. James, we still got money?
Yes, we sure do. We didn't take in any money this month, but we did pay out a little bit. You ready for me to go over the report?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I did mail it out to everybody earlier. We started out the month with month of September with $21,812.78. Paid the insurance on the repeater equipment, and then there were 2 checks written. One was a refund to was it sales?
Yeah, so SAYLES
Yeah.
for the second person
Right, to Pam and
on the
Mike.
Huntsville trip.
And then the other check was to Joe in reimbursement for the for food and drinks for the Huntsville bus trip. So we ended the month with $21,395, and I can't even read my numbers. Gotta take my glasses off. 58 cents. We steadily increasing the CD here. We added what, 751 to that, and we had no applications received, no membership renewals or anything. So we have nobody to vote in.
Oh, okay.
And I have one check left,
Okay.
or one signed check,
One sign. All right.
which I will send that to Barry for Wallace Tower Specialist Company.
Okay.
Barry, you said $2,800 even?
Yes.
All right. I will get that in the mail tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Lynn, other than saying that you broke your foot, you got anything else to share with us?
Did anybody see the commercial appeal editorial yesterday by a professor at Vanderbilt University and a ham radio operator? It was a pretty nice editorial on microwaves and so forth.
Okay.
You might want to go back and look at it if you didn't. It was just nice to see that he was a professor emeritus from Vanderbilt and had something done. If you could understand it, you ought to be in his class.
All right. All right, Mary Jean, you got anything else?
Nothing else really, except for kind of to follow back up on the bylaws. How do we want to just have everybody raise their hand? I mean, on voting yes or no on it, because that's what we would do anyway.
I would say
think
that, but then my main thing would be if anybody has an objection, because that would be the easiest to identify.
Yeah.
If we've got 30 people on there and one objects, and that's the majority, so.
Do you have to have a quorum of membership to vote on the bylaws, or is it just other people present? Or
It would have to be, well, I know it would have to pass with 2/3 vote when we have
of
the
the
vote.
people present?
Mhm.
Okay. Because that's going to be the big thing, is getting the names of the people, the number of the people present and who they are.
Yeah, we've been keeping a record of who's online, so yeah.
Yeah, which kind of, I mean, it was referenced earlier. There weren't really many comments about it. And I mean, I know Tom had one, and I think there may have been one or two other comments, but there wasn't really a whole lot of feedback. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with because we've spent so much time hashing out everything and trying to figure it out. So hopefully there won't be much of an issue at all. So I don't know. I would expect.
I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that the whole membership didn't have to vote on it, or if it was just those present.
Just the members at the meeting.
That's fine.
So
And the fact that we've done it for 2 months, last month reviewing it and this month voting on it, that nobody can say they didn't have a chance, so.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. All right, that's all you had, Mary Jean?
I gave Mike an article that 2 silent keys in the last month. Karen Chancellor, AG4CC, who was the Shelby County Medical Examiner before she retired about 3 years ago. She passed away on the 10th of September from an automobile accident on Sam Cooper Boulevard.
Oh, no.
And it was somebody went across the median and hit her head on. And I've been working with her sisters. I went over and inventoried the equipment. I'll see what happens. One sister lives in Poland, is the one that I met. The reason I got involved really was because she had borrowed one of the hospital radio cases, and it had my name to return it to. And I said, while I'm here, if you're interested in, disposing of the equipment or whatever, let me at least get somewhat of an inventory. So I did that, but her sister, who was from Poland, said she'd have to, she was leaving town to where she was having to turn everything over to her sister who lives here in town, and her sister is still quite emotional about it. So nothing else has changed. I talked to her sister I guess it was Friday, possibly, Friday or Saturday. And she was still quite emotional about it. And I think she idolized her sister. Karen was a brilliant person. And she taught CW classes. But anyway, I included the obituary in the article that I sent Mike. And then the second one was Hooper Jones, was KI4 TPL. He was in my first class. And the day he picked up his ham radio license manual was the day the doctor told him he had throat cancer. And with that, he wasn't really able to get on the repeaters once he got his license. And I've seen him since several times. Well, he got in a general class that I had not too long ago. He was trying to get his general, but wasn't able to. So I just put that in as an article.
And when I talked to Mike, he did mention that he had those from you, so he does have them. He's going to put them in as far.
But even though they weren't Hooper might have been a member one time, but they weren't active or anything at meetings. But I thought it'd be nice to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To have it. And Karen was a VE, Laurel VE. She was a VE for one of the Germantown classes that I had. And that's it.
All right. All right, Carolyn. James said he didn't have any new members, but did you have anything else or?
No, I'll just get together the attendance records for you and get those off tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the, that's the next thing we got kind of pressing right now. We need to work on that. So
they should actually be up to date on the spreadsheet, but I can summarize them for you.
Okay.
It's almost time to start collecting for next year's dues.
We used to do, I think it was the last 2 months of the year, if somebody came in, pay for the next year and they got 2 months plus the following year's dues paid.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, Steve,
Nope.
I've got one more thing.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. I just thought of it a little bit ago. So with whoever, again, I'm happy in serve in whatever role. Something kind of like the bylaws this year, I know was my top priority. And I know it was on yours too, Steve, to get that done this year. And this is something that I think might try to kind of do some with what's left of this year, but it might be better to really just focus on more next year, but recruitment and building our membership numbers. And I know it's, we've been dealing with COVID, so I know that's a whole thing in itself, but even before then, it was kind of something that I wanted to get into. So I don't know if it helps, since we did change the vice president's proposed role next year to where they would be in charge, or that person would be in charge of soliciting and encouraging new members. That might help if we can think of anybody who might do well with that, even instead of just thinking of somebody to fill a spot, but maybe who might have the attitude and charisma to help engage new members and recruit new members. That might, I don't know if that helps or
Yeah.
hurts
That's
us
a good point.
finding somebody,
No,
but
it is, yeah, especially young ones.
because I mean, we've mentioned a couple ideas. Carolyn mentioned one earlier this year, and I know we had talked about some last year on growing the membership and getting different age levels involved and all that. So I don't know. It'd be nice to kind of get to look at something else normal after all this COVID stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Someone
that's
good at-
part of the
good at
reason why I've
marketing.
kept up the classes,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's I tell you, Delta Club was starting to really go down before I took over the classes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's definitely our,
Yeah, it's huge.
our pipeline right there.
Yep.
All right.
Still is.
Oh,
Mhm.
gosh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Just a couple of minutes between now and the net. All right, we don't have anything else. I'll say we'll adjourn. We will,
Don't move.
there we go. All right.
Have a happy night.
All right. I'm going to stop recording.